Hi, Mark here. It is Friday, May the 8th, 9:10 a.m. Eastern, 1:10 p.m. GMT. US session well underway. We've had the job numbers out of the US and Canada. US numbers, non-farm payroll, the consensus 65,000, the actual number 115,000, so above consensus. The Canadian numbers were for 13,000 new jobs, and the actual number was minus 17,000. So way below expectation or consensus. Let's see the market reaction. US dollar was sold off immediately following the release. Not the traditional or what one would expect, strong payroll numbers, strong job numbers should equal strong US dollar. Not the case, sold off initially, but looks to be bouncing back now. You can see a little wick at the bottom of the body. If I zoom in on the hourly, there you can see that was the initial sell-off, and now US dollar fighting its way back as the US session now gets underway. So interesting to see how this plays out. There is the losses so far today and following the job numbers, US dollar fighting its way back, bouncing up off this stubborn support at 97.75. So that's the support for now. I've got resistance at 98.13. That's the level that US dollar buyers will be looking up at. Let's have a look at the majors. There you see the Euro US, Euro strengthening against the US. That's weak US dollar against the Euro, despite the job numbers. 117.24 is support, 117.76 resistance. Resistance has been tested before. We'll see if Euro buyers have enough to break this resistance and push higher today, or if we're going to get a turnaround, which we're starting to see already, strong US dollar, a bounce down off this resistance area, and sellers look down at the 117.24 support level. Pound against the US. Here again, you're seeing pound strengthening against a weak US dollar. I've got support at 135.45. I've got resistance 136.23. You can see the resistance and support levels have uh, been in place here for the past few days, trading in this side within a uptrend, but certainly a sideways range. If I zoom out, there you can see what I'm talking about, the sideways activity. Buyers of pound, sellers of US, weak US dollar will look up at that resistance, look to break higher. Selling pound, buying US dollar strength will look down at the support at 135.45. US dollar against the yen. Here you see US dollar weakness. I've got resistance at 156.94, just under that 157 level, and support for now at 156.51, sitting lower half, but in the middle of that range. If we see a continuation of dollar weakness, selling US, buying yen, sellers will look down at the support level and look down at to perhaps testing yesterday's low at 156. Alternatively, US dollar strength, buyers will look to test this 156, 156.90, 157 or higher. But so far, a little bit of dollar weakness, and that's the small red candlestick we're seeing. Not much activity on the US yen pair. US dollar Canadian, bearing in mind the very weak job numbers out of Canada. And let me add as well, not only the minus 17,000 jobs, but also unemployment from 6.7 to 6.9, all adding up to US. Let me move my resistance. US strengthening against a struggling Canadian for now. There's the uptrend. Added to the uptrend today following the weak job numbers, I've got support at 136 137.42. I've got resistance at 137.05. That 137 level being tested. We'll see whether US dollar buyers can break above this 137. If we get a turnaround from strong to weak US dollar, a bounce down off this level, but bear in mind, even if the US dollar, if we see selling US, buying Canadian from a selling US dollar perspective, because of the weak Canadian, we might not see that much of a bounce down and US dollar sell-off against the Canadian. All levels being tested right now, resistance and support, weak US dollar to start. We saw that and following the jobs report, but certainly fighting its way back right now against the majors. Good trading, and I'll see you at the end of day.